Hello friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Danny and today it is time for me to give you my first Bucket List-athon update. Throughout Bucket List-athon, my plan is to give you one weekly update on Thursday of every week just to check in and say, hey, these are the goals that I've met, these are the ones that I'm working on, and also in the spirit of Bucket List-athon, I also am going to use these videos to highlight 2 Booktube newbies. This will help me hold myself accountable for the TBR that I originally created. Also give me a chance to tell you guys how my reads are going. Some of them have gone quite well so far, some of them have not. And give you guys a place to tell me about your stuff as well if you are not participating in the Discord, because I know some of you were hesitant to join the Discord and just wanted to play the game board on your own, but I would still love to know what your progress is. So let me know in the comments down below if you aren't in the Discord, and if you are in the Discord, make sure that you're sharing with me there or here, wherever you guys want. I would love to know what goals you're accomplishing throughout the readathon. If you didn't watch my Bucket List-athon TBR, I will link it in the cards and down in the description so you guys can check that out and see how the board treated me. I did have 11 rolls, and all 11 rolls did represent a singular book. So I have accomplished 3 goals so far. One of them I did outside of the dates of the readathon, but I'm gonna count it because, well, because it's my game and I can choose, but also because there was another book I technically could have doubled up on that I have also read, and so I feel like it's fair. The first goal that I have met, and I'm not going to go in the order that I read them, but just in the order that they are on my list. I think the order of the rolls is how I have them listed. So the first goal that I have met is the backlist author, which for this I chose Becky Chambers, and I read To Be Taught If Fortunate. And this was a 3-star read for me, which isn't bad by any means, but it was a little bit of a disappointment to me because I was thinking that this was going to just be something that I absolutely loved and that I could fall into. And I will say that in reading this, it does solidify for me that I love Becky Chambers' writing, and the fact that her writing does feel very cozy. However, I think that a story like this needed more time. If you haven't heard of To Be Taught If Fortunate, you follow a character who is on a team of individuals who are going to different planets to explore, and instead of them being paid for by corporations or by government entities, they are paid for by the people of Earth, people who want to explore things the right way, essentially, without trampling life and putting things at jeopardy that they shouldn't for their own gain. They are just exploring for the sake of exploring, and, you know, maybe potentially they can help themselves, but they're more concerned about making sure that their footprint remains small. And while I love this premise, I think that each of the places that we visit in the storyline, there's a very small cast of characters because this person leaves Earth very early in the book, and this is a very short book. I think it's like 153 pages, and essentially they travel with 4 other people, I think. Anyway, it's a small group of individuals who are traveling, and so there's not a big cast. And it's very detailed on the exploration of the other planets, the things that have happened to them, and the precautions they take to make sure that the planets are safe. And a lot of it was just really lovely, but I just needed more. I felt like it was I felt very separate from the storyline. And because we were only given short snippets for each of the locations that we visited, I didn't really ever connect with any of the characters. And the end of the book is very interesting. I like the choice that the author made, but because of the fact that I didn't make connections with the characters, and because of that, I didn't make a connection with their tasks, it just kind of fell flat for me. I do 100% understand why people love this story if you are more of a short form reader, which I have loved Becky Chambers short form before with the A Song for the Wild Built, the Monk and Tea Monk and Robot. I was gonna say it's a tea monk and a robot, but anyway, Monk and Robot series. I have absolutely loved that. But I think that was more character driven than this story was. So not a bad read, but a little bit disappointing for me. The second thing that I accomplished, which is the one that I did outside of the official readathon dates, is a 5-star prediction, which was Monstrous Knights. I was essentially having to read it at a certain time because of my library loans, and so I had to read it, I think, the week prior to the readathon, and this was a 4.5 star. So really close to a 5-star, but not quite there. I love this series. The first in the series is Foul Days. This one is Monstrous Knights. I'm pretty sure it's done. There are some places that the author could take it with maybe other characters, but I'm assuming that it's done. If you haven't heard of the Foul Days, you follow a witch who has gambled away her shadow, and she lives in the city of, I'm not going to remember what the city name is, but Chernigrad. Ha! I got it. But she lives in this city that is walled in, and the city itself is plagued by monsters the 12 days after New Year's Eve. It does have monsters in it throughout the year, but they are very, very prevalent in the 12 days after New Year's Eve. And she, being a witch in this area, is one of the people that does help protect others. She could put wards on doors and things like that, and her giving away her shadow essentially prevents her from doing that. So you follow her trying to get her shadow back, and some other things that are going on and mysteries that are going on around the city. It's very, very fun. If you do read this, please, please, please look at the back, because there's like a newsletter that the witches put out every year and it describes like all the monsters in the book. Of course, if you want to determine like what the monsters are, who they are, how they interact with people throughout the story, then you don't want to read that before you read the book, but I don't want you to miss it, because it was absolutely fantastic to see the witches put together this little newsletter on who the monsters were, how you can protect yourself against them, what you can do to prevent yourself from being murdered by these monsters. It's a really fun story. I can't tell you what the second book is about. I can just tell you that I really enjoyed my time with it. The last goal that I accomplished was finishing a series, and this was actually the first official task that I accomplished for the readathon because of a poll that you guys voted on, and I did finish Within a Sanctuary of Wings, which was absolutely lovely. I rated this a 4.5 star. It's not my favorite in the series. I do think it's a very worthy finale for Lady Trent, but because of some of the decisions that were made and the exploration of the particular type of dragon in this book, I wasn't able to connect to the characters as much as I want to in this story. It's more about the science and the study of dragons in this book. So I still absolutely loved it. A 4.5 is an amazing, absolutely amazing rating for a book. I think I liked the fourth book and the second book in the series are my favorites. And I think it's because those storylines lent themselves more to being able to connect with the characters. But I do really like this. It was something I was completely not expecting the book to do or the series to do, and I really enjoy the illustrations within this series. It's fantastic. It will be a series that I reread over and over again, and I am excited that there is I don't know if I want to call it a sequel series, a sister series that follows Isabella Trent's granddaughter that I am excited to get to at some point. The goals that I am working on, I'm going to be looking down at my notes so I can remember. The first one I'm working on is a must read, which was Led Luda. So I'm about 70% in to that. So I should finish that probably within the month of November, because it is my nighttime read. So I'm not reading huge chunks of it every night. But the next one that I'm working on is a favorite author, which I chose Paladin's Faith for that. And I am really liking my time back in the Saints of Steel world. I really want to own this series too, but unfortunately I haven't been purchasing them as I have been reading them. If you haven't heard of the Saints of Steel, it's a series, it's a fantasy romance series that follows the paladins of the Saints of Steel who have lost their god. So the Saint of Steel has passed away, and it caused a huge catastrophe and traumatic life event for all of the paladins. And these paladins have to learn how to cope with the loss of someone who is literally a part of them. And each of the books follows a different paladin with a different love interest. There's mysteries that are going on. It's definitely a darker, it's like a fantasy horror series. There's some decapitations that happen in the first book, some kind of creepy things going on. The world that you're in is very gritty, and I absolutely love it. This book, Paladin's Faith, I have cackled so many times. It's amazing how T. Kingfisher can just have me on a roll. I was in the middle of driving to, I think, get dinner one night, and something happened in the car, and I'm sure people around me just thought I was nuts because I was losing it in the front seat. I had to pause my audiobook because I was laughing so hard at this particular scene. It's absolutely fantastic. If you like fantasy romance and you enjoy banter in your romance books, I definitely think you should give this series a try. I also have started Rewitched, which was not for an official Bucket List-athon TBR prompt, but it was our voted, like the most voted buddy read book. So if you guys are buddy reading Rewitched with me, be looking for my comments in the Discord because I'll let you guys know how that book is going. So far, I think that it's going to be a fun time. It's set in a bookshop, has really cozy vibes. I love the descriptors that the author has used so far to describe the sensation that a witch gets when she has another witch in the room with her. It was very beautifully described, and so I have been liking my time with it, but I am taking it slow. So hopefully, my guess is I'll have that one read before the end of November as well, but you guys can check up on my progress on the Discord. So that is my update for week 1 of Bucket List-athon. I think it's been a productive week. I am proud of myself, and I'm going to leave you guys with 2 booktubers that you should definitely go and check out. I will leave their channel names in the description down below for easy access. The first one is Una Reads, and Una has been on Booktube for 2 months. She's been on YouTube for longer, but just specifically on Booktube for 2 months. She has 32 subscribers, and she describes herself as pure chaos. She really likes to participate in readathons. She's been pretty active in sprints as well, as far as, you know, what I have seen. And on her channel, you can find reading vlogs. She enjoys fantasy, romance, and mystery, and I look forward to seeing more from Una. The second booktuber I have for you is Uncommon Kim, who has been on Booktube for, I think, about a year, has 383 subscribers, and loves YA, mystery, fantasy, and did describe herself as having phases in reading. So she will really dive into fantasy, or really dive into mysteries, or really dive into other genres as well. And so she's getting back into fantasy, which I like to see. Her most recent video was about 3 fantasy series that I really enjoyed. So you should definitely go and check Kim out. Don't forget to let me know in the comments down below how you are doing with Bucket List-athon. What tasks have you accomplished so far? If you aren't participating, what book are you currently reading, and what are you thinking about it? And if you're not feeling chatty, just leave me a little earth emoji for to be taught if fortunate, so I know that you're here. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you have a lovely evening, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!